Solid. All right. Welcome, everyone. So thank you for coming. I appreciate it. So I know a lot of you are probably at work or busy, but use the chat. I'm a slut for the chat. I love it. It helps a lot to kind of get some engagement. Helps me see where y'all are at because not everyone is going to come off mute. So this call is going to be about energetic boundaries. I think it's a huge theme that was going on in a lot of the check-ins. So I needed to make something on it because a lot of people are struggling. And Ash has talked about it, but I'm going to take a different approach to it. So let's begin. So this one I called Enter a Season of No. Say yes to you. So first slide is self-respect. So we're talking about energetic boundaries. Boundaries are just energetic borders for yourself, right? So an analogy, the US-Mexico border isn't as well respected as the Great Wall of China, unfortunately. I'm Mexican, so I can say this. Which is more respected, though? Some of you treat your boundaries like the US-Mexico border. How let people cross it? You allow it to be contested, unclear, ignored, too forgiving. Your boundaries need to be like the Great Wall of China. Clear, respected, strong, enforced, and upheld consistently. An enforced boundary is a healthy boundary for everyone. And it preserves not only the relationships to the other person, but to yourself, most of all. And the reason why you struggle upholding these boundaries is because you're distracted with pleasing. So there's a lot of people pleasing in here. I've talked to a lot of people pleasing identities, so it's really good to talk about this. The reason it's easy for people to bypass your boundary is because you're distracted with pleasing others. You think you're giving enough time and attention and energy to yourself, but when that one person or several asks something of you, you fold, right? That's the people-pleasing identity that a lot of people struggle with, is just pouring out of an empty cup and giving your all to this one person or several tasks that come up because that's the only time you feel valued. And the little yeses that you give to everyone or these other circumstances outside of you is going to be your death of 1,000 cuts. These things compound. As small as they are, it's the death of 1,000 cuts. Small compounding energetic drains that prevent you from moving forward, basically. It's just draining your battery consistently over time without you noticing. And then it becomes programmed into your subconscious. People-pleasing is a deep identity that is built into many humans, but is not something we can do forever. So we have worked through it. A lot of people that have had some deep identities with people-pleasing, and it comes down to upholding boundaries is one of them. There's other things that we can work through. We can talk about it on another call, probably one-on-one, or you can talk about it with Ash, but people-pleasing is the core of it. Questions to ask yourself throughout this call. How do I become less distracted with people? How do I enforce these boundaries? How can I let go of this identity? And how can I feel less selfish when enforcing a boundary? If any of these questions come up in the middle of the call, again, use the chat. I got you. Let me pull it up just so okay, so let's start with distraction, right? You lack distraction. You must focus like real focus, not like the sit down and study type of focus, not the let's study a subject in school. This is the awareness kind. This is a different type of focus that not all people have. It's not the focus that you have at work either. You have to be aware of your energy and how you're depleting your energetic bank to give to someone else. It's an intuition that you have to build up over time. So this is a question you guys can answer in the chat. Has anyone else felt drained after giving and doing all these tasks for someone else, and then maybe your partner, manager, whoever leverages your people-pleasing tendencies, family, friends? Like you feel drained and then you have nothing to give to yourself at the end of the day. You feel super lethargic. You're not really able to stick to your tasks, your to-do list. You feel behind, stuff like that. Comment it in the chat. If you say no, then you're a fucking liar. Solid. Okay. A lot of yeses. Perfect. Great. Even a thumbs up. That was cool. I didn't know how to happen. That's your subconscious programming. So the program is addicted to the highs of feeling valued. Basically, dopamine. Dopamine's a hell of a drug. The cycle looks like this. You get a high from someone asking you to do something because you believe you're only valuable when you're doing the said thing, right? It's deeply programmed into a lot of people's subconscious, especially as a child or your upbringing. So if your culture or family is really focused on giving food, cooking, and that's your way of giving, or your love language is giving, or your family taught you to only give as a form of love, and that's the only identity that you had, then that becomes deeply programmed into your life. So you go into doing the thing, expel all your energy, don't have any left for you, you recharge by not doing anything and resting, and then you go back and do it again. And you wonder why you can't find the focus to do the things necessary for you to accomplish your goals. So this is where boundaries come in. So focus on the feeling before you're about to do something for someone or give your energy from them. The decision is made when they ask you, or when you feel that indecisiveness of like feeling pulled to do something for someone. That's when your decision is made. That's the feeling that you're looking for. Someone asks you something and you're like, deep down, no, I got to do this shit. I need to focus on me. Or maybe I shouldn't go out. Maybe I should just focus on what I need to be doing this week. And that decision, that's when you reinforce the subconscious programming and you're just going to give into it. And this is when you practice saying no to the things that don't serve you. That decision, that's the pattern interrupt that needs to happen. Pattern interrupts are very, very powerful when you use them correctly and consistently. And they need to happen almost ruthlessly for you to actually see change. Being focused doesn't mean focusing on the thing that's in front of you. What the hell was calling me? Being focused doesn't mean that focusing on the thing that's in front of you. It means saying no to the several thousand things that are going on around you. Like I said, focus doesn't come from sitting down and studying. It comes from awareness and saying no to all the opportunities and all the things that are showing up around you. You're going to say no 1,000 times more than you're going to say yes. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, but saying no is saying yes to you. The more times you say no, you're going to say yes to you. You're not saying yes, you're saying no for you. So, there's an analogy I like to use. I'm sure you have all watched The Matrix. It's the best fucking movie ever. If you haven't, go fucking watch it. There's a scene in The Matrix called the woman in the red dress. So when Neo is first invited into the simulation, whatnot, right? They're walking in the streets of New York, and there's a woman in the red dress. There's like a bunch of people. It's New York, right? And Neo sees the woman in the red dress. He notices, and they walk past each other. And then Morpheus, as he sees him look at the woman in the red dress, he says, Neo, were you looking at me or the woman in the red dress? And he's so distracted, he didn't see. So what happens is he looks back, and it's one of the simulation Mr. Smiths that looks back and says, and then Morpheus, basically at that point, he says, if you're not one of us, you're one of them. So what this analogy means is, the more you become more disciplined, aligned, and selective with your energy, stick to your non-negotiables, and stick to your plan with less distractions, you get tested. There's so many fucking tests from the universe, from God, from your source, wherever. You're going to get tested so hard. And I've seen it over and over again. People try and join the program. People try and change their life. Oh, I got into an accident. Oh, family member. Oh, my personal relationship. Oh, I'm getting a divorce. Oh, there's so many things that you're going to get tested with. Distractions. So that's the matrix. You're not one of us, you're one of them. So as you get better, more consistent, feeling good about your progress, the woman in the red dress gets hotter. Or the women in here, the man in the white tuxedo, whatever you want to use, the distraction, right? So make sure that you notice those things. As you start to become more successful and better at what you're doing right now, those opportunities are going to show up. Now you have to say no to more opportunities, and it gets harder to stay consistent with your non-negotiables. And that's the truth. It's going to get harder, but it gets easier. But it doesn't, well, that's a lie. It gets harder, but it feels easier because you're doing it more consistently. You're getting more reps in. So let's use a little bit of science, okay? The energy parasite. There's a study. So I'll get to the study at the end. Helping someone instead of helping yourself and thinking you're doing good is actually worsening your relationship with them and yourself, right? Giving too much to someone is worsening your relationship with them as well. And the reason why is because there's a couple of things that can happen. One is the time thinking about saying what you're going to say, right? Like I said earlier, the decision that you're going to make when you say yes to someone, that point, you have to think about it, right? Should I do this? Should I not? It drains a lot of you. And part of you doesn't want to do it, but you just fall into the people-pleasing tendencies. So you're feeling energetically drained about whether you're trying to decide whether you're going to say yes or no. The next thing that can happen for the energetic parasite is what I'm thinking about after I didn't respect my boundaries. So like these are the thoughts that come up after I say yes, after you make the decision, you're like, fuck. It's basically the little bit of regret. So you're energetically draining because you know how you could have spent the time to do more productive things. And the fact you also didn't respect your boundaries. So a little bit of both. Next one, when you wake up, probably you're thinking about someone else's needs now. Oh, did I get them what they needed? Did I fully meet their needs? Did I even meet my own? So this person, thing, circumstance is on your mind in the morning as well. And it's taking up a lot of your mental capacity more than you have for yourself. And this is the actual cost of switching. So this is where the study comes in. So this is a cool study. I'm pretty sure it's kind of obvious, but the study is called Shifting Set About Task Switching, Behavioral and Neural Evidence for Distinctive Forms of Cognitive Flexibility. That was a mouthful. So basically, what it means is focusing on one task at a time led to 4 times more efficiency and better performance when people were doing, this is just like a couple tasks, right? Like they weren't even doing multitasks, but just maybe like 2 or 3. Switching between tasks led to longer response times, more errors, and more distractions. And this applies to people as well, right? You're draining yourself from the energetic capacity that you have to do your said tasks, because the more you keep switching between the person and you, the longer it's going to take to complete the main task, which is you. You are the main task. You are the main project. You will always be the main project. No one else is going to work on you except you. So here's to entering a season of no. If you have trouble being productive and staying consistent with seeing progress, cutting people, habits, mindsets out of your life, consider this. Enter the season of no. I've done this in 2022. I did it in 2023. I'm probably going to go harder in 2025, Jesus. So making sure that the things and the people and the circumstances you're giving your energy to and attention and time are currently running your life, right? The only things that we can control in this life, energy, attention, time, energy. No, we can't control time. We just can control energy and attention. There's another one that I'm missing and it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it. But those things are affecting and running your life as of now. But there's a thing that most people don't recognize is all these things you're giving your energy to, they're a choice. It's truly a choice, and taking full responsibility for it and not saying, but they needed this. Oh, I needed to do that thing for this person. Everything you do in your life is a choice. You're in this program because you chose to. You choose to do the things outside of this program because you choose to. You're in your current job, your current reality. All those things are a choice. So you are where you are right now because it's an energetic match for your current mindset, your current behaviors, and your current identities and your current habits. The universe just gives you an abundance of what you already are and just matches the perception of what you believe the reality to be. Correct? Take flat earthers. They see their reality as the earth is flat. No one can change their mind. These are conscious, those are conscious beliefs, but subconscious beliefs where habits and behaviors and identities run your life, those are choices, and you can break them by at least starting with non-negotiables. So entering the season of no means you have to write down the list of sacrifices you're willing to make rather than the things you're willing to do. I'll read that again because a lot of people like to focus on the latter. Entering the season of no means you have to write down the list of sacrifices, things you're willing to remove from your life rather than the things you're willing to do and add to your life. Life is very, very subtractive when you think about it. Subtractive, not additive. So making sure you find the things that are going to help you become a higher version of you. That's why we had to that's why we had you write that letter to 2026 version of you. Would they be doing the things that you're doing now? Because we all know what it takes and what you have to do to be the highest version of you, right? We all know what you have to do. But what are you doing that you shouldn't be doing? And that's when you enter the season of no. Doing what it takes versus removing the things that prevent you from doing what it takes. There's two perceptions here, right? There's the glass half full, there's the glass half empty. Choose whatever serves you, but just from a perspective shift, taking the latter, or sorry, the previous one. No, it is the latter, sorry. Removing things that prevent you from doing what it takes is what is going, because everyone has a certain amount of battery, right? Like everyone has a certain capacity to do the things that they need to do. If you keep adding on top of that, there's not going to be, you're going to list all the excuses and amount of time that you don't have to do the things. And that's where people fall short. Like you don't want to add shit into your life. What can we remove to make space for the things that need to be there? The puzzle pieces that need to work into your life for you to enter the version of you that you're looking for in December 2025 when you're writing that letter again. Cool? Oh, this is the last one. This one's good. Ah, shit. Go back. Go back, Mike. Well, that's GG. We're done. Just kidding. There he is. So this is also important. You will never rise to the level of your goals as well. That's what I was just saying is, you won't rise to the level of your goals. So if your goals are outside of you and your capacity is only this much, you won't rise to those levels. But you will always fall to the level of your systems. That's why the first couple weeks, first couple months when we're in the program, we build foundation. Foundation, we're building a house on concrete, not sand. You want to make sure your foundation is strong, your systems are strong, your habits, your mindsets, everything is strong. I've had to push people back in terms of fat loss phases or muscle building phases or any phases in terms of their program because they're not ready, right? It's how willing you are to do the things that are required, but also remove the things that are not serving you to get to where you want to go. So moving on, everyone ahead of you, financially, health-wise, career, lifestyle, spiritually, has the same time, right? You've heard the cliche, even Jeff Bezos had the same time as you, all that. They're ahead of you, not because they're doing more though. It's that they're not doing the things that you aren't. Or sorry, it's not that they're not doing the things you aren't. It's that you are doing the things that they aren't. I'll read it again because it sounds kind of like a mind fuck. It's not that they're doing the things you aren't, right? You're probably doing a good amount of things that they already are doing. But you add more shit on top of that. It's that you're doing the things that they aren't. They're doing things that are not the singular task, singular habits, things outside of them that don't serve them. They have boundaries. They have focus and self-respect. They are choosing to say no to everything, everyone, and reject habits that don't serve them. Now, they only do the work that's ahead of them to attain their goals and be where they need to be. And this is a huge shift that I had to make in my personal life, cutting people off, cutting habits out, all that stuff. So, and I'll give you an example after this. Allow no space for anything else to occur, and by default, you're going to become more productive and inherently set better boundaries because you're focusing on the time, energy, and attention of the said task, right? Making sure that you take the time and energy and attention that you have to focus on the said task and not allow yourself to do anything outside of that task for the allotted time, you're going to be productive and you're inherently going to set better boundaries to people that are not helping you get there, right? You want to make sure that you're treating this lifestyle almost as school, for example, right? You're studying for a final. I got to study for the final. If I do anything outside of this final, I'm fucked. So you have to treat yourself on that level. Like you have to have urgency. Otherwise, we're gonna go back to the other bullshit where we're trying to do multitasking and you're not going to be working on the main task, which is you. So identities, we talked about that. This is the other question that we wanted to ask in the beginning of the call. Identities, when you're about to break through an identity that no longer serves you, every time you're about to have a breakthrough into a new level, you're going to start sabotaging the shit out of where you are right now. I've seen it happen. I've done it. It's not uncommon. Self-sabotage is huge, especially when you're about to break through a new one, identities. You're going to see your old behaviors go ape shit. You're going to see a lot of shit come up in the sneakiest ways. The ego is way smarter than you. It's lived for fucking millions of years for a reason. Runs your entire life. It's your ego's last ditch effort to hold on to what you're used to and the familiar and comfortable identities have. Oh, did I not finish that sentence? Let's go back. The familiar and comfortable identities have one last opportunity to basically control your life again, right? They're going to show up in every singular way for you to commit to the old habits and old identities for you to feel like it's comfortable again. And Ash has talked about this, and I talk about this a lot, but just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's good, right? This is why people get stuck in toxic relationships, right? The toxic relationship was their first love, this and that. And whenever they see healthy relationships, healthy love, it's like, nope, let's go back, because they're used to chaos. They're used to toxicity, and they go back to that. And all the last ditch efforts, their old behaviors for them to self-sabotage that relationship are going to come up. Seen that happen several times with clients, myself. I'm sure you've gone through it. So it doesn't want to let go of those habits because that's what it knows and that's what's comfortable. Your ego has a certain identity, certain identities, plural, of what is comfortable, what people know you to be, facades and masks. So in order for you to fit that role in life, it's going to have to fit that role by bringing up old behaviors. Creating a new habit is overwhelming to your ego because we're about to become someone you don't know. So this is why building foundation in the program is fucking important, because if I throw all the habits that you have to do that like I'm doing right now, you would probably not stick to them. Hey, eat 3,000 calories tomorrow. Eat 200 grams of protein tomorrow. 10,000 steps tomorrow. Your ego's going to be like, fuck that. I'm staying comfortable. I'm going back to old shit. It's small wins. You have to sneak under it. You have to sneak under the radar. Small tides. Otherwise, creating a higher version of you, it's going to be a very steep incline. You're going to get there probably. You're going to probably lose the weight and it's going to go back. You've seen it happen, right? Oh, I lost 60 pounds, but I gained 70 back. So we want to make sure we do things sustainably, but also learn what identities are holding you back. And we can talk about it on our calls, the 101s, all that stuff. Imagine though that you locked in, upheld your boundaries, took action every time you said you would, and said no to the things that didn't serve you for a whole year, you wouldn't recognize who the fuck you are in December 2025. You writing that letter, you would not recognize who you are. You wouldn't recognize at all. So that's where we go into quantum leaps. So a lot of you, maybe me, this is just me, maybe answer in the chat, I guess. Has anyone been feeling like a different type of energy going into this year where they feel like this is a little different? Like it doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel like scary either. You know, it feels like there's a big change coming, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's different. And I'm not sure what to do with my hands right now. Does anyone else feel that? Like they feel like there's this wave of change coming. Comment it in the chat. Solid. Lisa said yes. I can definitely see it for Lisa. Marissa raised her hand. Okay, that's good. Yes. Ali said yes. John said yes. Okay, solid. You're in this program. I hope you feel that way. Solid. Okay. So upholding your boundaries and shedding identities and doing the hard shit when no one is looking, the transition looks like this. This is a quantum leap. If you don't know what it means, we can go into, if you're, what's the word? Okay. I'm sure you have watched Marvel Multiverse. I'm sure most of you are kind of familiar with the multiverse from Marvel, right? But to shorten it, there are infinite identities of you. The highest version of you is living out there somewhere in another dimension, in another multiverse, because there are infinite, that is doing the things that you aren't doing and is holding up their boundaries, right? That's why visualizations and the meditations and the breath work that we do are important for you to center yourself and find that version of you and actually talk to them. Having a conversation with Source or God or whoever you have a conversation with, that's important. So what a quantum leap is in the metaphysical space, this is your old life. You here. I'm sure you see Interstellar where they have the wormhole. You can think of it as a wormhole, but in terms of the metaphysical, all you have to do is envision mentally what that higher version of you is doing, what he looks like, what she looks like, how they feel, how they show up, how they talk, where they're living, how much money they make, what their friends look like, what are they doing on the weekends, stuff like that. That is your transport, because whatever you can program into your subconscious, new habits become new lifestyle, and new lifestyle becomes new you. So you're here. That was supposed to be in the arrow. So this arrow is you right now. This is the quantum leap where you feel like you're transitioning, but you're not necessarily in your new life and you're leaving your old one. It's kind of this lonely tunnel, right? Where you feel like you're making a decisions or you're making a compounding decisions that are leading you to a new life, and you don't know how or when you're going to get there. So the point of this is you're transitioning to a higher version of you, but you don't know how or when. And that's not up to you though. Your job is to still create and still uphold the boundaries and habits and lifestyle that you implement now and stay consistent with them to get to the end of the tunnel. So this is the marathon of the tunnel. You could probably see the light, but it could probably keep going further and further. So the transition can be lonely before receiving the life you desire. You're walking the path alone, but not lonely. You can be alone and not lonely, because as long as if you have poured into yourself with so much self-love and respect, and you're upholding your boundaries and you're sticking to your shit, you have you. You'll always have you. You're going to go into the ground. We're all going into the ground because you have you at the end of the day, right? So pour into yourself like all you have is you. Now it's walking by yourself. Ignore the with. Now it's walking by yourself for yourself, not for others. Your boundaries, your energetic protection, and commitment to the goals will quantum leap you into a new life. Okay. This transition, it feels weird. I've been going through this transition for about 2.5 years. I'm starting to see a lot of like manifestation, and it's fucking awesome. But that doesn't mean I have to stop, right? You want to make sure you consistently walk through the tunnel. I've seen a lot of people walk through this tunnel in this program too, staying committed to the protocol, staying committed to the lifestyle, staying committed to what I teach. It's all really important. So continuing, trying to find the path of least resistance is exactly why you crumble in the face of adversity. The path of resistance is the path. There's no path of least resistance. There's no easy way. It could feel easy sometimes. Sure, it'll feel easier. But like I said, the woman in the red dress or the man in the white tuxedo, they get hotter every single time. The tests become harder. Challenges become harder. So trying to help everyone is helping no one. Trying to multitask when you haven't mastered the simple shit is why you're struggling. So do the simple shit with hard boundaries. At least do the simple shit with hard boundaries. Sleep, eating, workouts, sticking to your nutrition goals, waking up on time. The normal life shit. Sticking to those hard boundaries. I have to eat at this time. I have to sleep at this time. I have to work out at this time. I'm hitting my goals no matter what. The boundaries, the foundation. Build that with hard boundaries. Because if you let those go, then there's a high chance that it's gonna take longer to walk through this tunnel. Do those right first before you try and help everyone else. If you're trying to help everyone else on top of doing the simple shit without hard boundaries, it's gonna be a rough ride. It's gonna be a rough ride. Help yourself before you help others. You cannot pour out of an empty cup. You cannot. Ask me how I know. Ask everyone else in the chat how they know. You're trying, you have to pour not out of a full cup, but you need to patch your holes because everyone has holes, right, in their cup. Everyone's kind of leaking a little bit. Everyone has a little bit of trauma. Everyone's leaking, right? But you want to slow down the rate at which you leak. Patch your holes. Work on the identities. Talk to people. Figure out why you're going through this struggle and why it's testing you, because the universe is really, really, really good at throwing the same blessing at you until you learn. And different, it's going to look different. The woman in the red dress might be wearing a blue dress. Who knows? But it's going to be the same lesson. Because who really helps the helper, right? The people-pleasing paradox is who helps the helper? No one, because only the helper can help the helper. So take the last slide with some gratitude. So be grateful for everything and everything, basically. Like not just the good shit. I was talking to someone else on the call, and he should be here, but he's not. I was basically telling him, you have to be grateful for the hard shit as much as you are for when things are great, because everyone loves to ask for help from people, from God, from the universe, from wherever, when things are at rock bottom. Why? Why do we do that? Why don't you just talk? Why don't you just have a conversation? Why don't you just feel grateful for all the shit that you're going through, all the struggles, because they made you who you are? You have to learn to be grateful for those things, because without those things, there would be no wisdom. You would just kind of be walking through life kind of like an NPC. That's not fun. We're here to build a lot more consciousness and apply that consciousness. So remember that this path is not for everyone. There's a reason, if you guys didn't know this, it's very important. There's a reason January 19th of every new year is called Quitter's Day for everyone's fitness goals and health. 92% of people, this is a real statistic, drop off at that point and don't pick back up. There's apps that track it, all that shit, right? People create new logins and then they drop off. If they do, they struggle because they don't know how to enforce non-negotiables. If they pick it back up, they don't know how to continue because they lost the weight, they gained it back. They don't know how to embed lifestyle habits into their systems. They don't have any support, stuff like that. 100% of people will start the rate. That's supposed to say raise or rise. Wow. The race, like running race. 100 people will start the race and only 8 people will finish it. Right? That's the 92% statistic. And if there were gold at the end, everyone got a piece of the gold, it wouldn't be valuable anymore. So if 100% of the people, if 100 people got the gold and they all had to split the gold, no one would value it, right? The reason people value this journey, this path, because it's not for everyone, is because not many people will get to the end. So how important is it for you to build these boundaries and pace yourself through the tunnel? Because what a lot of people don't know is, like I said earlier, when is the time, when am I going to get to the end of the tunnel? That's not for you to decide. It's more of a distance thing. It's how willing are you to run the race and pace yourself and not sprint and rush it. Because we all want to rush it. We all want to get to the goal, sure. But that doesn't mean that you're ready to hold or maintain that lifestyle just yet. Because you have not built the version, the character that you're trying to be at the end. So how willing are you to pace yourself to make it to the end? Because the most successful people do the things not because they love it. They have the discipline because they have built so much belief in the importance of their actions. You have to have a lot of importance behind your actions. You have to have belief behind everything that you do is important, and it's for you because you are important. And everything outside of that is a distraction. Do you want to be proud or do you want to have fun? Sure, you can have a little bit of both. But like I said, it's going to take a little longer to be in that tunnel. The distance is going to feel longer because this is the path, this is the race. You're going off track to go get water, to go pee, to talk to friends, blah, blah, blah. So the person that is waiting for you at the end of the quantum leap, which is going to be our next call, because I'm thinking about doing that, deeper dive into like metaphysics, requires a season of ruthless imbalance, which will later create balance. I like to use this analogy, right? Like a teeter-totter. I have a spoon here. This is good. So teeter-totter. Most people, if you're on one end of the teeter-totter, if the kid, or there's 2 kids on there, right? You can't find balance immediately. It's impossible. Physics doesn't work that way. You have to create imbalance on the other end to refine the balance. Okay? Most people try and find balance from the start, and they try and implement and add all these things into their life, and then they fuck up. Right? They go back to where they started. You have to give just the right amount of effort, right amount of force. No, you just fucking imbalance it the other way. Do all the other hard shit ruthlessly. Do it full ass, not half ass, and then find balance later. If you want to remove, like for me, I removed alcohol for like the whole year. I drank once last year. And for me, now I can integrate it again if I feel like it. I have that balance and boundary to say no. Right? My rule was like, hey, if this opportunity only comes up once in my life again, which was the only time I drank last year, was my friend got married in Mexico, I'll drink. If not, if it's a birthday, if it's holidays, if it's any of that other shit, if it's a dumbass 3-day weekend, what's the point? Boundaries. This applies to food. This applies to alcohol, friends, all that stuff. Start creating rules for yourself and abide by those rules. There's a reason that people don't stick to boundaries is because it's not just saying no. It's having also a reason to say no. It's like, okay, does this stay within my rules? Stuff like that. So is this the end? Yeah, this is the end. Solid. Good call. How are we feeling? Do you guys want me to go back to anything? Luke got that was W got fucking fireworks, dude. Any questions? Any reflections? I'll just open it up for like Q&A if you guys want. So that way we can see what we got.
Truth
So
is in the pudding, brother.
yeah,
You have to want it bad enough in order to succeed.
exactly.
Otherwise, you're just gonna fall flat on your ass.
Hmm. Absolutely. You have to want it bad enough. But it's not even about wanting it. It's also about like knowing that this is gonna a need more than a want. And you have to be willing to do the required work. Like a lot of people aren't willing. People know that they need to do it. They're just not willing to do it. But yeah, very good presentation. I resonated with a lot of this, especially with the people pleasing part. Solid, Lisa. Okay. Yeah, I know she's at work. I'm glad that that resonates with you. I know that resonates with you a lot. So that's good. I'm glad. Did any part resonate with anyone else? I can go back to a part of the slides if you guys need any reflections, or if you guys want to talk about how to do XYZ with people pleasing, you can ask here or in the chat.
Quick question. This is going to be recorded, right? So we'll have access to it later.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I'll
Good.
put it up on the YouTubes.
Okay. Bet.
Yeah, everyone should have access in the Discord. It's in the weekly group call recording channel. If you don't know where it's
Okay.
at.
All right. Good. Yeah, because I'm gonna need to repass this one. Not because because I am at work a little bit, so a little bit I was kind of in both.
Mm.
But you did say a lot of stuff that resonated with me, so I want to make sure that I really have it and listen to it. Probably multiple times so that
Of
I can
course.
really get it through
Yeah.
this thick noggin.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah. A lot of people need that, honestly. I need reinforcement. Like you need to master this shit. Like just hearing it once is in one ear out the other. And I don't want to do that. So like that's why I'm here to more educate you on all this stuff, not just like tell you, teach you. So that way
Hmm.
it doesn't just fly over your head.
Yeah.
Like want you to master it. Right.
Yeah.
It takes
Definitely.
time. It takes time to master it, but the more you master it, the more this shit gets built into your subconscious and your lifestyle.
I
Lisa
think
said, "Oh, go for it,
sometimes
Lizzie."
I was gonna say I think sometimes it's hard to tell which one would use more energy, like not like saying no to something and not doing something and then constantly thinking about it and being like, oh damn, like I could have
Mm-hmm.
versus like the energy that you'd be saving being like, no, like I'm not gonna do that. Like which one would like take more energy or like more emotional energy to like say no to something and
Mm-hmm.
like be thinking about it versus just like doing that thing and having less energy.
Right, and that's the paradox. That's the
Mhm.
paradox. So it's it's more of like your ego's going to trick you into thinking that saying no it takes a lot of energy, but in reality it's one of the most simple and energy protecting things that you can do. Right? People like you don't know that it's going to take you a lot of energy because you've never tried it. And it's going to think that this is going to feel much harder than it is because it's such a different identity of you. Like you're so used to saying yes. So that's the ego's goal, right? The ego's goal is to say anything outside of this identity, if you're trying to do the opposite, we don't fuck with that. Just kind of go back to the familiar, and we're gonna do everything in our power to kind of keep you there. So yeah. So what I would say is start with if it's people that are around you that it's hard to say no, start with for me, like I can say no around family easier than I can around friends. That's just me because my family knows me to be like they have this identity around me, like they know I'm more strict with things. I'm the fitness guy. I'm more consistent with my shit. I just have an easier time saying no. Whereas friends are like, hey bro, they'll just keep pushing buttons. So it's a little bit harder. So the energy differentiation isn't that much different. Right? That's just my ego playing tricks on me. It's literally the same amount of energy. It just feels harder. It's really hard to describe. Does that make sense? A little bit?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just the intensity. There we go. The intensity is different, but the amount of energy that you expel is the same. It's like walking uphill versus like at this incline versus walking uphill at this incline. You're still walking uphill. Just the intensity is different. Yeah. So try it. We got, let's see. Lisa said, I really like the sacrifices part. Hearing it made it see it from a different perspective. Okay, that's good. Yeah, the sacrifices part is really helpful for a lot of people. Like, you want to make sure that you can list out those sacrifices that you're willing to make. Am I willing to eat out less? Am I willing to say no to this group of people? Am I willing to go out less? Am I willing to or am I willing to like remove toxic scrolling at night to go bed on time? Stuff like that. So that's good. I'm glad that helped. It's a super ego pushing through. Yeah. The super ego is fun. Jeffrey said, I think people pleasing with family members is harder depending on the relationship that you have with them. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's different. And that's what I mean. Like for me, it's easier. And that's just because a lot of my family kind of knows that once I say, like my word is my bond with my family, if that makes sense. If I say I'm going to do something for them, I'm going to do something for them. If I say I'm not going to do anything for them, they're just going to move on. And then I'll be like, okay. It's like a shrug off the shoulder. Whereas friends, I don't know, it's just different with my friends. And they just like push buttons. But yeah, everyone's different. Ali said, same. I feel like friends are more prone to saying you already look great though, and push you to give justifications for your own boundaries when it comes to like family versus friends. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Friends are always going to question. Friends question me a lot. And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
And I feel like it always comes from a place of love, but at the same time, it's like, bro, please stop, please.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Because they have identities already created around you, right?
Mhm.
They've only known you for a certain amount of time, whereas family has known you your entire fucking life.
Yeah.
And they've seen different versions of you. So they kind of just accept that you're becoming a new version of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always the case, but that's most commonly the case.
Yeah.
Right. Unless that family member is just like very stagnant. Whereas friends are like first impression, maybe a couple different iterations of you. I like this version of you. Let me place that version of you because you're the fun version. I can poke buttons. I can get what I want. Let me test. That's what they do. So once you become more aware of these things, it's really interesting. So like everyone in here should be practicing that. Family, coworkers, friends, whoever, partners, seeing that interaction when people like start to push your buttons and you start to feel that feeling like, fuck, I'm about to say yes. A lot of my energy is going to go here. Be aware of it. How does it make you feel afterwards? Like that list of questions I had, like the energy it takes to say yes, how you feel afterwards, the morning after, and the distractions or the things that it pulled you away from. So that way you can kind of manage where your energy is going, where your time is going, where your attention is going. Yeah. Does that help? Good questions, guys. Good reflections. Good reflections. Anyone else got any questions? Marissa, do you have any questions? John? I think you guys are the only ones that didn't go.
I think for me, like I feel like I have pretty good boundaries.
Okay.
But I think for me, it's just like finding the energy after.
Yeah.
After my job, like being teaching all day with kids and hearing my name 500 times is exhausting.
Yeah.
So I think when I come home, like I just have like maybe less than 10% to give to like everything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking about, sorry, my dog's barking, how to give more energy to myself and like the things I need to give. So how do I do that? Like, how do I get more energy? I don't like, I've stopped drinking coffee, and I don't know. I don't do like, I don't do like energy drinks, but I know there's like different things you can do, or
Mhm.
maybe not eating like the right amount of things or something. But
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's like,
In terms of, I mean, it comes down to manipulation of your time. So time management is huge. So for me, for example, I know that a lot of my day goes towards one-on-one calls, towards doing work and all that stuff, and like talking to people. So I'm not necessarily dealing with kids, but kind of the same thing. So I want to make sure I take the first 3 hours of my day, non-negotiable, to focus on me. That's where I do my breath work. That's where I work out. That's where I have my breakfast. That's where I do all my things. And even if I'm getting like 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep, I'm going to do those things because that's my me time. Otherwise, I'm an asshole for the rest of the day. I'm sure you can relate. You're probably like really mean to the kids every now and then when like one of the kids says something or does something and you're like, and you want to do something, but you can't. So it's regulation and taking the time to do the things that you need to do before your day starts. And that's just me. Everyone's different. I know Luke like started doing morning workouts and he's like, bro, I'm showing up to work like the best version of me. I've never done this. And this is wild. Like, holy shit. And he's like, hey, how you doing in the chat? So it's like, what are you willing? It goes back to that question. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice?
definitely.
Is it a little bit of sleep? Is it the end of the day? Is it shifting your day to the left where you wake up earlier and go to bed earlier, but stay awake for the same amount of hours? It's just time manipulation. That's all it is. Because your ego right now is stuck in this schedule. It's going to think, okay, you're too tired to work out in the morning. I don't want you to do that because I want you to stay in this pattern and be drained at the end of the day. So if you try and move your time around, like we don't want to do that. So it's like sneaking things in. Maybe start with an early walk. Start with something that helps you get regulated for the day. Breath work in the morning, meditation, an early bath. I don't know, something that really just like helps you feel you. That way you have time to give to other people because you're pouring out of an empty cup for the rest of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank
Like yeah, of course. Yeah. Luke, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to comment about like what you're talking about,
Oh yeah.
changing your day for
Yeah.
it to work better for you, or give you energy. Like when he was saying that I started working out in the morning. Okay, so I'm not a real morning person. I'm not mean in the morning or nothing, but I'm not a morning person. But I get up around like 4:55 in the morning so I can go to the gym, I work out, I come home. It's like I have so much more time. I have time to focus on what am I gonna eat. Um, so I can get a meal that's actually prepared that goes with my, the plan, the procedure. I get to take a shower, I feel refreshed. Like just figuring out, I feel like what works best for you, like, or a time, like time management, like you said, maybe wake up earlier and go to sleep earlier. Like, and then, okay, so I was like, all right, realistically, I feel like I'm not gonna work out every single day, maybe every other day. So that's what I've done this week. Like I worked out on Monday, I did on Tuesday, I got to sleep in, and then on Wednesday I worked out. Dude, it's not worth it. Just get up every day because on Tuesday I had the worst day ever. Like it was just like it was like that day was cursed yesterday. And so I'm like, no, I take it back. I can work out every day. I can work out every day. Like I need to get up. I need to do that because it gives me energy. It's what's for me. So definitely trying to figure out what time works best for you, I feel like is a big thing.
Yeah,
And a lot of people don't want to wake up early, but even if you gotta wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I feel like it's worth it.
absolutely.
That's what
But
my
everyone,
piece.
and that's everyone different.
Thank you.
Marissa, do you do lower or upper grades?
I'm a second grade teacher. I love-
Okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
sub K through 12, and on the days I'm doing elementary, I feel like there's so much more time in the mornings to like wake up a little bit earlier and even go for like a walk or like have some like slower wake up time. So if that fits with your schedule, that could be really great.
Yeah.
I usually like to like run in the morning first thing, but I'm always like afraid someone someone will attack me.
Yeah, because I know like during the school day, like lunch and recess, like you don't have any time. Like you have
No.
to like sprint to the bathroom and like chow down like a bar or something and like get back to the kids. So there's just no time.
Yeah, I usually work through like my breaks. Like so I'm eating like whatever I can put in my mouth and then making copies and then going to the bathroom and
Yeah,
Some-
literally.
like 15 minutes.
I applaud you guys for the teacher life. Even Jeff said it in the channel, like, yeah, you guys do a lot for the kids.
Thank you.
So, especially for you guys, especially kind of finding that people pleasing identity and like seeing how you can create boundaries, not just around the kids, but around yourself. So that way you can give to kids more because you can still, you're probably pouring out of an empty cup and you can probably pour into yourself more to still give to the kids more without really adding more to your day, if that makes sense. Patch the holes in the cup. Good. I'm glad you guys liked it. Yeah, we're gonna do these bi-weekly, so we're gonna jump back on it. But if you wanted to watch the other calls, they're in the YouTubes. And next Wednesday we're gonna do a support. So like we switch off. So Wednesday's extra support, and then the Wednesday after that. So basically, is this the first Wednesday or the second Wednesday of the month? So even Wednesdays, even Wednesdays, so the second and the fourth, we do the presentations and the odds. We do the extra support. Yeah. So solid, guys. I'm gonna snap a pic real quick. Okay, cool. Hold on. There you go. It's fucking loose those balloons, bro. Okay. Cool. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. Hope you got something out of it. I'll post it on the tubes. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the chat. Okay. Love you. Bye.